How often is it you get a chance to talk to a real shark? Well, I got a chance to talk to one of the sharks on Shark Tank who has helped millions of people. A wonderful guy, brilliant, and he's got so many good ideas. I'm going to share this with you. We did it on Freedom Fest TV, and I'm sharing it with you now. Join me with my guest, Kevin Harrington of Shark Tank.
Hi, and welcome to Freedom Fest TV. I'm Gina Carr, the producer of Freedom Fest TV, and I'm so delighted that you could join us today. We're going to have a lot of fun. We have a fantastic guest, and we're going to get right into that. But let me just tell you that today's program is sponsored by Freedom Fest, and Freedom Fest is a fabulous intellectual buffet of speakers and panels and special events. We're going to have speakers there like Senator Rand Paul, Judge Andrew Napolitano, Governor Gary Johnson, who's running for president, his vice presidential candidate, Bill Weld. So there's going to be incredible. There's over 200 speakers already committed, and we have tons of people signing up. We have extended our room rate for the discounted rooms. So if you can get in and get your reservation right now, those rooms are not going to last much longer. If you use code FFTV, all caps, at freedomfest.com, you can get $100 off your registration. And if you're a student, there are special student rates. So there's all kinds of special deals, special rates. I encourage you to go sign up. Freedom Fest is going to be fantastic this year, as always, but even better because of our special guest who's going to be here with us today, and our MC. Our MC this year and the host of Freedom Fest TV is Terry Brock. Terry is a former chief enterprise blogger at Skype. He's the former editor-in-chief of AT&T's big business blog, award-winning business blog. He's a member of the Speakers Hall of Fame, the International Speakers Hall of Fame, where he speaks about marketing and technology around the world, helping businesses develop stronger relationships through technology. With that, I give you Terry Brock.
Well, Gina, thank you very much, and welcome to all of you joining us, whether you're live or will be on recording. We are excited today. I'll tell you, it's going to be really good because if you are interested in what works in business today, we've got just the person for you. His name is Kevin Harrington. Kevin, thanks for joining us today.
Harry, such a pleasure to be here. Thank you. And a nice introduction by Gina. She gave a good overview for Freedom Fest. Going to be a lot of fun coming up.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. It'll be good. Well, matter of fact, I got the official introduction. Everything here. I want to put together this guy. You got to get to know this guy. Many of us know him for certain areas. I want to go into some more detail here. He created his first infomercial in 1985. Back then, founding a company called Quantum International, became the president of national media and oversaw the launching of several successful infomercials. So he learned on that, what works in infomercial on TV, how to do it, how to make that work. And then after leaving national media in 1994, he formed a joint venture company with a home shopping network, very important there, and co-founded HSN Direct International, served as its chief executive officer and president between 94 and 1998. Many of us know him from his work with Shark Tank, where he and others on the team have helped literally millions of people, business owners and potential entrepreneurs, learn about what works and what doesn't work in business. And his book, you got to get this. I'm going to make him tell us a little bit about it. And I just got a few minutes ago, Key Person of Influence. I've gone through it real quickly here already, and this is dynamite. I love it. So, Kevin, it is an honor to have you aboard, sir. Thank you for being here.
Terry, it's such a pleasure. You know, I've had a lot of fun. I consider myself a old entrepreneur now, but you know, I actually was one of the co-founders and original board member of the Entrepreneurs Organization called EO, and originally it was called the Young Entrepreneurs YEO, the Young Entrepreneurs Organization. So we're now in about 45 countries, 150 plus cities. But I've been an entrepreneur for 40 years. I've done hundreds of infomercials, and I've had a ton of fun out there. You know, I joke a little bit, you know, that I got that phone call from Mark Burnett to be on Shark Tank. And, you know, I said, when Mark said, hey, you want to be on the show? I said, Mark, I said, Shark Tank. I said, I'm not so sure. I said, I know what you do to those people on that Survivor Island. I don't know if I want to be on Shark Tank. What is it, right? So he said, it's a business show. So, but think about that, Terry. Well, if you got a phone call and somebody says, "You want you on the show called Shark Tank," what if you could? Who would have ever thought that was a business show, right? But leave it to Mark Burnett, and he did. So I've had a good run. I did 175 segments on Shark Tank.
Wow.
Yeah, those are all rerunning now. We run 3 hours a night on CNBC, so it's been an amazing thing. In fact, I just was on the phone today with a follower. I get followings all around the world, but we launched in India recently, Shark Tank. So all the original segments, that I was on are now running down in India. So
excellent.
It's a lot of fun. And by the way, it runs all across Asia. So we're probably in about 45 countries right now with Shark Tank.
Well, congratulations. That's great. Yeah. And as I see what you do there, it's really good, not just for the people that are there, but for those watching it, because it's almost like going to business school. I mean, I went to business school. It was the right thing for me at the time, and doing that and get the MBA and all those kind of things. But I find you're doing it in the real world. And while we got you here, I figured, hey, we got you here. Matter of fact, those of you watching this, notice the background. Kevin is so gracious and kind to help us. He is literally in his hotel room right now, getting ready to charge out. He's got to catch a flight and all that, but he said, I'm still going to take time to be with you today. So Kevin, while we got you here, I want to find out, in today's environment, you see people all the time that are doing business. They've got great ideas. Everybody's got a great idea that they want to do, but you have the way of looking at it of what's going to work and what isn't. What do you see that's working particularly well today in today's marketplace?
So now I've spent 30 some years now as seen on TV, right? And so TV, think about this. TV viewership has been dropping. People are, I've got 2 kids, they don't watch as much TV as I did, right? As you did. In fact, if TV viewership is down by 50%, the normal, tuning into your television screen when you come home from work or whatever, right? So where are they going? They're on their mobile phones. Mobile is huge. The amount, there's billions and billions of mobile phones, but all of these mobile phone apps, there's actually more time spent in apps than there is watching TV today. And so the world of mobile, the world of mobile apps is a huge industry to be following and to be in on. And then this kind of leads me into my the learning curve now over the last few years that digital is also kind of the future in the world of advertising. So last year, 60% of my sales were generated in non-television fashions. In other words,
60%?
60%. So where we used to test on TV, we're now testing on Facebook, on Pinterest, on Instagram. We're using, all these other digital platforms. So I think that the bottom line is, Terry, I think I want to just say is that in the old days, I sort of spent millions of dollars with a few channels. Now I spend a few dollars with, I'll say millions of channels, but thousands of channels, right? So that's the beauty of digital. And really what that allows me to do is to get out there and really target market for a product, the specifics that I can go after, the demographic that I actually want. Whereas with TV, you're hitting the masses. So I just think there's some great changes that have occurred that have made marketers, it's given up marketers a chance to be a lot smarter and to really do a lot better targeting, I guess. So anybody that's looking at getting into a new business, if you look at the world of mobile, the world of apps, the world of digital, these are areas that are very focused and give people a great opportunity. And then on the flip side, what's tougher? It's no secret that the retail environment is having a tougher environment right now. So, look, people, they're not going out to the retail stores like they used to. You're seeing a lot of pressure in the retail world right now. So, I think, if you look at a lot of the media, the retail stocks, look, Sports Authority just recently filed for bankruptcy. And, a lot of these companies in retail are seeing a little bit of pressure on the retail side. And the Amazons and these direct to the consumer internet and digital companies are coming in, capturing a lot of this action. And just one last thought, and then I'll throw it back to you. 3 years ago, my wife used to probably get a few packages a week. Now she gets 30 to 40 packages a week. And I'm thinking, are these all expensive purses or shoes or whatever? And she's like, no, it's pretzels, it's pharmaceuticals, it's your Pepsid AC for your stomach and hairsprays and all the things she used to go out and buy at CVS and Walgreens and these places. Or at the grocery store. I mean, the other day she had 3 bags of pretzels that showed up. So, I mean, there's a change in the way people are shopping. And so if you can capitalize on that, that's a good thing to be looking at.
Absolutely. I really appreciate you saying that. That says reflect what is going on in the world today. We're seeing a decisive change. Like, for example, here, Gina and I are together here, and we needed something. We went out to Costco the other day. We got some things from a rental car that we had. We don't have a car now. We have found that we don't really even need a car because we order it from Amazon, or we needed some things from Costco, some things we forgot. No problem. I clicked on it, punched in my number. They sent it. Within a couple of days, it's there. I saved the time, the money, the energy of going out, and we're seeing some major changes on that.
Yes.
It is changing. Gina, I see you come on board. Did you have a question or something you wanted to mention?
No, I popped back in. For some reason, there was a terrible echo when you were talking all of a sudden, but it's gone now. So... Okay,
it's one of those fun things with technology, which, by the way, Kevin, is another thing that we do. We roll with it, that sometimes things don't work. The technology will work, and when it does, it's great. And when it doesn't, we roll with the punches. But I think what you're talking about is very important. For those of you watching, what Kevin just said shows a monumental change, that now instead of doing things the old way of radio, TV, newspaper, all of that, they still work, but a decisive shift toward the digital and the mobile side. I think that's really important. Kevin, do you see that continuing, or where do you see us going, say, in the next, let's say, really long term, like the next 12 months?
Well, I'll say this. I think TV viewership is how you view TV is changing every day now. And I think that, think about it this way. Right now, even the cable companies are starting to unbundle. Because I get a cable bill right now. I subscribe to everything, right? I get all the movie channels, every channel you can get. My cable bill is $200+ a month. But I do it because I'm in that industry and I like to see everything that's out there. But for the average consumer, they're saying, they watch 8 or 10 channels 90% of the time. So why do they pay for 200 channels if they're only watching 8 or 10? So this unbundling is what's happening. And I think Apple TV, I just read an article the other day that Apple TV said viewing TV is just going to be getting a bunch of apps, and you're going to be watching, all of these different apps on your television. So, so I think this unbundling is occurring. And, I think people are stripping their packages down. And by the way, it doesn't necessarily mean that their bill is going to be any lower when it's all said and done, because, if you strip out some of these channels and now you start watching more Netflix, you're buying these other services. But I think maybe you're spending your money where your viewing is going. So ultimately, I think what's happening is, like, for example, I get like 5 ESPN channels, right? I only watch the one. So I don't know why I get 5, but somewhere along the way, there's going to be some adjustments on some of these channels that people are paying for that they're not watching.
Yeah, I think so. It's like we get to pay for what we want. And really, when you think about it, that's a free market way of doing it. That we call it out and we're looking at things that we want to do. It's a free market, libertarian way of looking at it. I want to go back to what you said about social media. You mentioned you're using several. Have you noticed any particular strengths for certain platforms versus others, like where you would use Facebook versus Instagram versus any of the others, LinkedIn or YouTube, that you have found that work particularly well?
Well, all of them are working, and that's a good thing, right? And so I think the one thing that is the huge buzz in the last year for us is actually Facebook, and now Facebook Live. Are you familiar have you been using Facebook Live at all?
Yeah, I've been using Facebook Live, and they made a major announcement yesterday that it's going to compete with Blab very strongly, being able to put in more people remotely, like what you're doing, you and I are doing here. They don't have it yet, but they just announced it at VidCon yesterday.
Oh, yeah. So, I mean, I think, the beauty of Facebook and Facebook as a testing grounds, this is actually, where we do a lot of testing of new products. In the old days, I'd have to take, someone would walk in with a product. We'd say, okay, let's green light it. We'd have to go produce an infomercial. And the infomercial would cost upwards and, anywhere could be, $250,000 plus, right? Then we go test it and then we have to retest it. We could easily put, $200,000, $300,000, $400,000 and then find out it didn't work. Now we go on Facebook and we can do some real digital testing. And I'm talking, $1,000, $2,000, not $10,000, not $100,000, not $200,000. So Facebook and Pinterest and Instagram, they're giving us the ability to go in and do this targeted testing. And also we're actually able to take products that we weren't able to do on TV because it was too mass market. And so, we're taking products that can be very niched and going after them in a digital way, because we can, with Facebook, you can target users based on, their affinities and things that they've aligned themselves with on Facebook. So we have the ability to really do a lot of targeting now.
Absolutely. And those of you watching this, think about that. What he just said, if you're entrepreneurs out there, you should be writing some notes down. This is important. That before we had to just say, you just blast. That was the term we used. We blast a message out and use the old spray and pray method. You spray it out, praying that maybe something will work. Now, like Kevin just said, you can target. If you wanted to reach all the medical doctors on the north side of Orlando and that had this kind of income, you probably can do that kind of thing. And it's really important. So that leads to my next question I wanted to ask you. What particular skill sets do you think we need to acquire? I'm not talking about just people going to school. I'm talking about all of us who are in the school of life. What kind of skill sets do you see we need to acquire to be successful in today's world of digital media, mobile, and those types of environments?
Well, so, Snapchat is another one. Do you Snap, Terry?
I have been looking at it. I have not gotten into Snapchat. I mean, really, my plate is full with so many other do this, do that, do this, and this, and all the things. But I haven't got into it yet. But I'm hearing more and more. And as it bubbles up, the marketer to me says, "Okay, it's something we got to start paying attention to. I want to get out there and go to it." And that's where, again, using tools like this, you can hire wonderful people that are there to help you. This is why God invented high school kids.
Well, that's right.
So we can learn this stuff.
So I took my 18-year-old out with me for 4 days on a road show that I was doing, 5 cities in 4 days. And I had him doing Facebook Live, Snapchatting, and all the different things with me, because you said, what skills should we acquire? We should acquire the skills that the high school kids have. Okay. Wow. So, I mean, because, what's funny is I talk to different crowds and I ask for a show of hands. How many are, people Snapchat here? Well, by the way, there's 8 billion, I think it's 8 billion a day videos being Snapchatted, right? So now, if you're not doing that, you should check into it, because it's powerful. But so technically, you need to know how to do all these things, how to upload the snaps, and then same thing with Facebook Live, and same thing, getting the technical sides, the lighting, it's anymore today. People are operating their own TV networks, So I mean, there's a guy named, you ever heard Gary Vaynerchuk at it?
Gary V, very strong.
Right? Yeah, Gary V is unbelievable, right? Well, Gary V, he is like a camera guy that follows him around because he's always creating content, right? Well, the average person doesn't have the budget to be able to afford that. But why does he do this? Because he wants good audio. He wants good lighting. He wants good visual, right? So, how can you do what Gary V does on a shoestring budget? Well, by the way, there's a lot of tools and things you can learn on how to get the right angles, the right sets, the right look, the right, create your own TV network kind of thing, and get a following and get, a business, with all this kind of opportunity that's out there. So, So,
as a matter of fact, I got to show you right now. I just got mine. I mean, right here at home, and I got this. And look at this. That's a 4K camera. This is a Panasonic one I got just a few months ago. It is phenomenal. I can zoom in on something literally a mile away, and I'm able to read the letters on it. And you think you can carry something like this with you, kind of like what Gary Vee is doing. As someone, I don't know if they're using this particular camera, but something like it. And I think we're seeing a confluence of the technologies today coming together. It's like, wow, we've got incredible bandwidth, smaller computers, smaller devices, and yet we have more tools to be able to use it. I love what you said about the testing. Being able to test that on a small scale, much better than going out and hoping that something works otherwise.
Well, I call it my test before I invest mode, right? So, it's to me, I love testing first and getting a good chance to read the results before we invest big money, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And matter of fact, I see we have someone join us right now using this technology. We got Anthony Frank. Am I pronouncing your name correctly?
Yes, it's Frank.
Yes, Anthony, welcome aboard. What's your question for Kevin?
How's it going? How you guys doing? I love the conversation. I want to introduce myself and also, I'm loving this conversation. Blab is huge. I don't think it really competes with Facebook Live. They're two different platforms. Facebook Live is, like Kevin said, everybody can have their own TV show now, and it's in the palm of their hand on their smartphone. So that's pretty legit.
Yeah.
Blab is really a community, and that's what's so awesome. People are like you guys, who I'd probably never get to connect with, are here on here, and now we get to all connect. So I'm a big believer in social networking and connection, social connection optimization, right? Reaching people that you might not have met and building relationships with them. So super stoked to be here.
Yeah, I think that's very important. Matter of fact, Anthony, I'm going to piggyback on what you just said here and ask Kevin the importance of relationships and how that works in today's world. Kevin, what do you see the relationships in the digital world different from when it was more of an analog world?
Well, great example right here. With digital, you're able to bring a mass amount of people. I mean, here we are, three of us on the screen. At one time, you could bring dozens on the screen with different kind of platforms. I do a lot of communicating. In the old days, for me, I did a lot of face-to-face, a lot of meetings, a lot of, you got a product? Okay, people couldn't shoot a video in their house, upload it, send it over to me and have me watch it, or watch it live. They had to, come and sit face-to-face or record it, film it, and send me the VHS tape, right? Or the DVD. But now, with the ease of digital, you can do things live. You can be online live. We could be watching videos live right now. A few years ago, you had to travel. I mean, people would come from Los Angeles all the way to St. Pete, Florida, to pitch me their product, and I in 5 minutes I could tell them, yes or no. But hey, why don't we do it over the internet? And show me the video. Let's do a demo live, and it's almost like a virtual Shark Tank, right? So I do a whole lot of these kind of things. I mean, I say that my mobile phone and my computer is my virtual office, right? In fact, I used to have 500 employees across all different spectrums inside my company. Now I manage hundreds of millions of dollars with less than 10 people. And it's because it's a virtual world. It's a digital world. I love it.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think that's the beauty of it. We're doing a lot. Of course, I did when I was working with Skype and got a chance to see the power of that. And now we see we're connecting with people all over. Like, for instance, Anthony, if you don't mind, where are you based today?
I'm in Santa Clarita, so out by Magic Mountain, Southern California.
Oh, okay.
And
I'm here
like an hour north of LA.
His hotel room. And I mean, think about this. For those of you watching this, Kevin is right in his hotel room. He's gracious enough to holler to us. He has to leave in just a moment here. So we're going to be wrapping this up to catch a flight out to California, taking care of some things there. But the potential that is there today is just amazing. But Anthony, any other quick questions before we move on?
Oh, before I go, I would just say there's something huge to be said about video. It's the easiest way to communicate with people online. And advertising video is the cheapest thing that's happening right now. Facebook video ads, super cheap. And everybody's just going to fall into suit in there. With Facebook Live now, you're going to get more reach because you're making Facebook Live videos. They're trying to compete for the same attention that live broadcasters have. And it's just a win-win all the way around. So market yourself.
Yeah, very, very good point. Anthony, thank you very much for joining us today. We appreciate you stopping by.
Hey, guys. It was nice to meet you, Kevin. Nice
Kevin, I want to follow up on that. I think one of the challenges we have today is we see the great opportunities that are there. I mean, we can do all this. It's real cheap. It's easy. But that means there's also a lot of people all tugging at our heels for attention. So how do you stand out in the crowd of clutter? I mean, clutter before was there were too many billboard signs driving down the road, Burma Shave and all that kind of stuff from way back. Well, now everybody's got a channel and there's really good stuff out there. How do you stand out from the crowd?
Well, one of the things I talk about, and I put a book out recently called "Becoming a Key Person of Influence." Right. So, like when you
right here,
thank you. Okay. So you know Barbara Corcoran from Shark Tank, right? Good friend. She's dynamite, special lady. You know how she started? She became a key person of influence in the New York real estate market. You know, one of the things that set her apart, she sued Donald Trump because she had sold a piece of property for him. She sued for payment and won. So, you know, she wasn't afraid to go against the big kahuna, Donald Trump, right? So, so that started her down this path of becoming a key person of influence. Then she got a little gig on the Today Show and to talk about real estate when the market turned. So when the market started getting, you know, when the market was crashing, she came on and said, look, let me talk about, you know, how you can survive in a market crash situation. So Barbara Corcoran became a key person of influence. Me, I was the guy doing all these infomercials. I was Tony Little Fitness and Jack LaLanne Juicers. I worked with George Foreman also, right? But people didn't know who Kevin Harrington was. I was putting up the money, financing, producing, and doing all these shows. But Tony Little was becoming famous, and Jack LaLanne was selling all these juicers. But who was Kevin Harrington? Well, finally, my first book I put out, and then it was called Act Now, How I Turn Ideas into $1 Million Products. And that was my first step to becoming a key person of influence in my industry. I used that book to get on radio shows because was low-hanging fruit, right? Talk radio. Well, I got on a dozen, then I got on 30, then I got on 50. All of a sudden, from the comfort of my home, I was doing 100 plus talk radio shows. And then that led to TV shows, and that led to trade journals, and the New York Times did a story, and then boom, Mark Burnett called. So, so you never know how do you put yourself in a position of getting that phone call for that new TV show that's coming out or that big listing that might, if you're in the real estate business or whatever. So I say that becoming a key person of influence is one of the things that entrepreneurs need to do. And with all of the opportunities with social media right now, you have so many places to pick and choose your fancy that it now is the time. It's much easier today to do this than it was 30 years ago.
Absolutely. It's much better today. And we're going to get a chance to see that at Freedom Fest coming up in just a little while. We've got you joining us with some other folks as well. John Mackey of Whole Foods, Steve Forbes will be joining us, and we'll be talking about what is working. And so those of you that are coming to Freedom Fest, and I hope that's everyone watching here, you want to see it. You'll get a chance to see them live and hear some good things about how to work, what is working in business today. And we're going to wind down in just a little bit because Kevin, I know you got to run and catch the flight, but before we do that, Gina Carr has some very important right over here. Notice how we can point and do this almost like a Hollywood Squares thing, Kevin. Have you noticed that? We can do it. It's cool. Gina's got some important words for us.
Well, I did want to hear Kevin address the pitch tank. This is a brand new thing we're doing at Freedom Fest this year. It's sort of Freedom Fest version of the Shark Tank. And Kevin, what are your thoughts on this? We're so excited about it.
Oh, you know what? I love the fact that pitch tank it's going to be Freedom Fest version of Shark Tank, as you said. So we've got a panel of judges, and I think we've got those judges locked up. I think Steve Forbes is going to be one of those judges. We're going to take pitches from entrepreneurs that have a product, an idea, a business, or a service. And what are they looking for? Cash. Okay. So, but beyond the cash, they're also, I say they're looking for, I say, why do people come on Shark Tank? They're looking for that partnership, that sphere of influence, sort of the Rolodex. How many people that go on Shark Tank, they want to get Mark Cuban's Rolodex, right? They want to, they'd love to be able to network with some of the same people that Cuban goes with. And, from my side, being in the as seen on TV business now for 30 some years, people that have a product, they want to get on TV. They want to get a commercial shot, and they want to get into Walgreens and Walmart and Target. And so, I've done, literally billions of dollars in sales over the years of different products. And I mean, I'm going to tell you something crazy. One of my hottest products right now is a nightlight for your toilet bowl. Okay. If you've seen this, it's called Global. And if I told you that 5 months ago, two young entrepreneurs came to me and said, I got a patent on a nightlight for a toilet bowl. And I literally laughed when I first heard about it. But think about it. It's 4:00 in the morning. You got to go to the bathroom. You get close to that toilet. It's a motion activated light that lights up your toilet bowl. So now you see it, and it's got 6 colors, and it's got a dimmer switch. So we've gone in 5 months from zero to close to $2 million a month in sales of a nightlight for your toilet bowl. So this is America. It's the American dream to come up with a product, to come up with a business. And so this is what I do every day. I take pitches, and I'll be really excited to meet the entrepreneurs coming on Pitch Tank. There's a little bit of a screening process that people are going through, but Gina, can you tell people where to go to submit their idea, their business for Pitch Tank?
Yeah, go to you need the word thepitchtank.com, and you'll see all the information there. You'll submit a preliminary application, and based on that, they'll get back to you and let you know. And I will say that Greg Ryder, who's the producer of this event, has told me there's been hundreds of applications, but only a few have been made it through the screening process already. And I think they're going to accept, there's a limited number of what they will accept, maybe 20 or so. Wow. So there's still opportunity. They don't have all 20 slots filled, even though they've had a ton of applications. And you are wanting companies that are a little beyond the napkin stage, right? I mean, ideally, you want companies that have something going already.
Right. I mean, in my business, I see products and products or businesses at all different levels. I see them on the napkin. I see them, getting started, prototype phase. I see them in rollout phase. But for Pitch Tank, in order to get, the check, to get the funding from one of we can't call ourselves sharks because it's not Shark Tank, but from one of the investors, we're going to want to see something that's a little bit further along than just an idea in the mind, right? So, or on the napkin. So, if you've got, I call it proof of concept, then that's, it's something that's got proof of concept, needs some money to develop it or roll it out, is going to be the kind of thing I'll be looking for. But in my
and that fits in really well.
Yeah, my normal business, I do still invest in things that are at earlier stages. I don't think we're looking at we just don't want to be looking at 20 early stage things. We want to see some things that are a little bit further developed for Pitch Tank.
Absolutely. Yeah. And although the official prize at Pitch Tank is $25,000 cash prize, the reality is that audience is filled with investors that may be interested in your project. So even if one of the pitch tank people don't invest in it, if you don't win the prize, there's still an opportunity that you may get plenty of funding away from, aside from that, way more than 25,000 even. So
talking about that nightlight for your toilet bowl, I do private pitch tanks all over the country, right? I do probably about 50 of them a year. So the guys that came through that particular day, they didn't even get on the panel to pitch, but I ended up doing the deal because I'm an entrepreneur that looks for opportunity. So that's why I'm going to be hanging out at Freedom Fest, hanging out for a couple days, looking to connect with entrepreneurs. So it's not just about who gets on Pitch Tank. I'm an entrepreneur, and hey, you never know. Maybe you guys will find something you're going to like and share it with me too.
That would be fantastic. Yeah, actually, we had the privilege of seeing you at the National Speakers Association event last year. Some of our friends were on stage pitching you, and so we enjoyed that.
That was a fun night. Yeah, thank you.
And so with that, let me just say, I know Kevin needs to run, and we've had a great audience today. Thank you so much. If you haven't gotten your registration in yet for Freedom Fest, you need to be there. It's going to be, probably close to 2,000 people. Free thinkers. It's the world's largest gathering of free thinkers. We're going to be talking about a lot of the big problems that are going in the world and what's going right and how we can make the world a better place. It's really a fabulous opportunity to interact with smart people like Kevin. And one of the wonderful things about Freedom Fest is Kevin will actually be like walking around with the crowds. And I imagine you won't have a whole tour of bodyguards around you, that people can actually talk to you, right?
Oh, I never have bodyguards. I let Kevin O'Leary take care of that function. Okay, he always loves to have, hey, he's the big star. But for me, no, I like hanging out. I'm very accessible, and I always say I put myself in the entrepreneur's shoes. I've been an entrepreneur for 40 years, and I love talking to entrepreneurs. I'm looking forward to meeting many folks at Freedom Fest, and it's a great start here today to get the word out about what we're doing. And I want to thank you guys for taking the time to have me on to tell everybody about what I've been up to, and the pitch tank and Freedom Fest, and look forward to seeing all of you in Las Vegas here in a couple of weeks.
Okay.
Yes, indeed. That will be very good. And Kevin, we really appreciate it. And those of you watching, really is an honor for me to be able to be here with Kevin, two guys born in the Midwest in the same year, and now my fellow Floridian there. So we got a lot in common, and it's just really good to have you there. He's given a lot. And matter of fact, if you're watching, let me give you something that can put a lot of money and knowledge in your possession. This book, The Key Person Influence. This is the one. I just went out and got it on Kindle. On my Kindle here, on my iPad, so I can get it. This is something you'll pay a few coins for it, and it's well worth it, because you'll be able to get the knowledge that took Kevin and his co-author, Daniel Priestley. I wonder if he's any relation to Joseph Priestley, but Daniel Priestley there with what they did took them a lot of time, money, and energy. You can get it for a very small amount, but be able to benefit from that. Do that. And then for Freedom Fest, be there where you can see people. You'll be able to meet Kevin. You'll be able to meet many other people who are very smart, who can give you ideas, and it could really launch you into a new career. Freedom Rising is what we're talking about at Freedom Fest this year. The idea of entrepreneurs getting out, making money, doing positive, good things in the world. And yes, we're aware of all the yuck that's going on. We're aware of that, but we want it even more. Kevin, before we let you go, I know you got to run to catch the flight there. Any final words to our audience?
Well, people ask me, I'm running through an airport, a young entrepreneur grabbed me, do you have any words of wisdom? And I'm going to talk a little bit about this Freedom Fest, but I say, I exercise curiosity overload. Okay. And that's why I go to Vegas 25 times a year. I'm going to be there. I do one called Beauty Pitch with John Paul DeJorio, the founder of Paul Mitchell. We're doing that in July at the Cosmoprof show. Then I'm back and I do the Super Zoo show, which is the pet show. Then I do the Surf Expo, and I do the houseware show, the hardware show. So I exercise my curiosity by going to trade shows, networking with people. That's what got me involved with Freedom Fest. I said I'd never been to Freedom Fest. I'd heard so many great things about it, but exercise curiosity and meet a lot of new people. You create these new relationships that build new business opportunities. And it's every day is a new day. And that's why I say, in my world, not everything I do works. Some things are going to fail. You get up, dust yourself off, go on to the next. But with curiosity and lots of projects, you get a good chance for some of them to become very, very successful. So exercise your curiosity and see me at Freedom Fest. I'm looking forward to anybody out there. Mention the show too, because it's a good way to let me know how we all connected. And again, thank you guys. I'll see you in Florida sometime soon. But 2 thumbs up. Terry and Gina, thank you guys for having me. It's really a pleasure to be here on your show today.
An honor and a pleasure to have you aboard, Kevin. And thank you, all of you joining us right now. We'll look forward to seeing you at Freedom Fest. On behalf of the entire Freedom Fest team, I'm Terry Brock. Thanks for being here. Bye now.
Bye-bye.